What we're going to be talking about in this video is 5 insane benefits that I achieved from meditating every single day for the last 3 years that you can achieve as well just by starting this simple habit. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that notification bell for the videos that I post every single week, and let's talk about how meditation can change your life. The first benefit of meditation is that you will have less anxiety, less fear, and less worry. When I started meditating 3 years ago and I began to simply be the awareness behind my thoughts rather than be so attached to them, this gave me a lot of freedom and let me let go of a lot of anxiety, fear, and worry that I was very attached to. And when I'm not so attached to that anxiety, fear, and worry, and I have the power to simply just observe it, this gave me the empowerment and freedom to just sort of watch it and let it flow by and not really believe in my thoughts so much, not create an identity around them. So I could just go and take action anyways. And if I can't take action, I'm able to just sort of accept the moment, because in the awareness of those thoughts, I'm able to let them go. And as a result of that, I have a significantly less amount of anxiety, fear, and worry. So if you start meditating, you can expect to achieve this insane benefit. Your anxiety and your fear and worry will literally become a joke to you because it's just so easy to sort of observe and let it go and not take it so seriously. Sort of just look at it from an outside perspective where you don't really need to take it as seriously as you currently do. The next thing we're going to talk about is less reactivity to the moment. Okay, and this one is huge because what I learned by meditating is to not be reactive to my thoughts. Because in the observation of those thoughts, I sort of learned to not react to them. And when I built the skill of non-reactivity, I was able to carry this over to everything that I did in my life, including the social interactions, including if a life situation happened in the way that I didn't want it to go, or if things just aren't going in the flow that you want, you can sort of build the ability to not react to it as much. It gives you the empowerment to not emotionally fuel things more than necessary. And if you do react, if you happen to catch yourself reacting, you'll have enough awareness built up to catch yourself reacting and let it go in a much quicker way. Whereas if you didn't have this skill, you would have held on to that emotional anger for a much longer period of time. But because you have this skill of non-reactivity, you can sort of just let it go much quicker, maybe in an hour or maybe even a couple minutes, instead of holding on to it for many days. And with the skill of non-reactivity, what I found is that this is extremely useful, especially when it comes to social interactions and life situations. So that might sound general. Let me give you an example. So if I'm in a social interaction and somebody gets really angry at me, let's say a family member, even a stranger in public, just has a random outburst of anger, a lot of the times that anger is going to try to pull you in and sort of make you react with that person because they have a conditioned pattern of being very reactive to the moment. And what happens a lot of the times is that unconscious reactivity, they don't even realize that they're unconsciously reacting. It's more of a pattern and they don't realize it. And a lot of times these patterns are gonna make you get sucked in as well. And then you're gonna start reacting. And a lot of this comes from the conditioning of society. So when you build this awareness from the meditation, what this will allow you to do is to simply just catch your reactions and not let them affect you. And then in the long run, you'll just stop reacting overall. So when you're in that social interaction and somebody reacts, you can remain very unreactive and then not let them kind of pull you into their unconsciousness and their unconscious reactions and their patterns and all the conditioning that they've had. And you're gonna be able to break your own conditioning as a result of this. So if somebody gets mad at you and has an outburst on you, you're gonna have the ability to stay grounded and not react at all. And a lot of people are gonna pick up on this. They're gonna feel your presence as a person. They're gonna, whether consciously or subconsciously, but they're gonna realize that you're not reacting as much as you used to. And they're gonna look up to you in some ways even, whether consciously or subconsciously, because you're not gonna be being pulled in as so much to all these situations. And if, let's say, a life situation happens to you where something really bad happens, where it's not really going in the way that you want, you're not gonna be reacting as much. You're gonna just be able to take your breath, calm down, ground yourself, and keep on moving. Just keep on moving and not react so much to everything external that is happening in your life. The next thing we're going to talk about that came to my mind is strong emotional control. And this is a huge one because it connects to non-reactivity in a lot of ways. When you start to develop that awareness from meditation, you're going to have overall stronger emotional control in life, because as a result of building that non-reactivity and letting go of those anxiety, fears, and worries, what's going to start to happen is you're going to overall develop this emotional intelligence where you're a much more grounded person emotionally. So rather than being like, if there's a spectrum, if there's like a chart and you're like this, rather than being up and down all the time where your emotions are sort of scattered, you're going to be mostly up here. It's still going to go up and down sometimes, but you're going to be more on the higher ends of emotion. You're going to be feeling emotionally grounded more of the times. You're going to be able to handle life situations in a much more grounded way. Overall, you're not going to have situations affect you as much. You're not going to have angry people affecting your energy as much. You're going to be able to protect your emotions, not let the outside circumstances affect your internal state as much. And this is very powerful when it comes to making decisions, when it comes to moving forward in life, when it comes to taking action, when it comes to setting goals, right? And breaking those ego habits, trying to improve yourself. Because when you let your emotions get in the way a lot of the times, you're not really willing to take as much action. But when you get control of your emotions, you're going to be able to take action regardless of how you feel. This might translate into the work that you do. This might translate in, you going to the gym regardless of how you feel. This might translate in you continuing the meditation habit. That's why the meditation is so important, because part of the discipline is to just take the action regardless of how you feel, right? No matter how you feel, you still do those 15 minutes. You still do those 20 minutes, whatever time it is for you. And then when you develop that discipline, that emotional control from meditating every single day, and it's quite easy. People just make it harder than it needs to be. It's just like a discipline of the mind. You're going to be able to take that discipline and you're going to be able to apply it to everything that you do in your life, including the gym, including your social interactions, including reacting to life situations. And overall, you're going to be a much more emotionally grounded person. The next thing we're going to talk about is a strong willpower. And this one is going to affect everything in your life, because willpower is going to help you to achieve any goal that you want in your life. When you develop a strong willpower, you're going to be able to take action regardless of how you feel. And once again, this connects to the last point in a lot of ways, because when you develop that willpower in meditation to do the discipline regardless of how you feel, some days are going to be better than others. Some days you might feel kind of drowsy, kind of tired, low energy, maybe a little bit mad. Some days you're going to feel good and you're going to have better meditation sessions. But regardless of how you feel, if you just take that action anyway and develop that willpower to just take action regardless of your emotions and your ego, well, this is going to translate into everything that you do in your life, everything. You're going to have that willpower to push through uncomfort and just, go through the resistance in a way where it's easier to flow through, because there's always going to be resistance that comes up in life. But are you going to have the ability to kind of work through it and not let it affect you as much, and kind of let go of resistance and just kind of flow instead of resisting and holding on? You're going to have that willpower to push through whatever it is that you're doing, but then also to just let go at the same time. And it's also like a paradox, if you want to think of it in that way, because you're pushing through, but you also have the ability to flow through, and you're not going to really be resisting as much. And this comes when you develop that willpower from the meditation. The last thing we're going to talk about is higher levels of focus and concentration. Have you ever considered that you can actually train your levels of focus and get better at focusing and concentrating? Because our minds are so scattered and we always tell ourselves that we need to focus. But have you ever trained your level of focus? Have you ever practiced, the skill of focus and concentration itself? Because if you practice focus and concentration, which is a big part of meditation, this will translate into everything that you do. So instead of being scattered all over the place and having this to-do list and doing everything as fast as possible, well, you're going to have this concentrated focus to get each thing done in the moment and worry about that one thing as you're doing it. This is going to help you get into a flow state as well. I talk about that in another video on how to get into a flow state. But with the concentrated focus, you're able to have that concentrated focus on each thing that you're doing. And this is going to be incredibly efficient and powerful to get things done in a much quicker and efficient way rather than having everything be so scattered. And this helped my life immensely, because if there's a lot of things happening in my life, if there's a very busy time, instead of worrying about all these things on my mind, sometimes I'll make a list, sometimes I'll just kind of go with the flow, but I'll be like, okay, what do I have to get done right now, in this moment right now? Not later, not in the future, not what did I have to do, but what needs to be done right now in this moment. And then I go get that done, and I have extreme levels of focus, and I get in such a flow state that I forget about everything else in my life. And then once that thing is done, okay, I say, okay, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? And then I do that thing. I do the next thing, and then I'm focused on that. And you can do this without meditating, but meditation will take it to a whole nother level. It's gonna help you to get into that focused, concentrated flow state that helps you flow and not resist with everything. So that's pretty much it, guys. Hope this video gave you some value. Hope this video gave you some benefit. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Hope you guys have yourself a great day. Done.